Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.co School for Trader Development. Hey, guys. Great to see such a huge room over on YouTube, all ready to rock and roll. There's the camera. There's Brian. He's on YouTube. He's live. Here we go. So really lucky. We've got actually three assistants here in the Google Hangout. I don't think you'll see them. Actually, yeah, you are seeing them, eh? I'm not quite sure. Usually when I do these, we see that present to everybody. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe you guys are going to have to bear with seeing the assistants in the Hangout with me, but they're here to help. We've got a nice, robust team. We've got a plan. I can see everybody's rocking and rolling on the YouTube channel. I think probably it's a good idea. Rob, I'm wearing a dress shirt because I respect you guys and I want to look professional here while I'm trying to help you change your life. So believe it or not, I actually wanted to get dressed up and look fancy for you guys. I think it might be a good idea while we're on the YouTube page, and you can even like maximize that. We should probably try and focus our posts and our questions in the Rocket chat. So if everybody maybe can pop on over to the Rocket chat and just give us a heads up, a nod. Yep, I'm over here on the Rocket chat, ready to go. And you know, we'll leave the YouTube channel aside. And primarily, let's try and speak through the Rocket chat platform. Yeah, look at all you guys rocking and rolling. Perfect. Excellent. Way to go, guys. Awesome. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover here tonight, just to make sure that we're setting everybody up for success here. Hopefully you can appreciate that number one priority here, guys. Oh, that's interesting. So now that's really good feedback that we need. Chris B says, Rocket Chat is disabled for sign up. So maybe what we could do, Chris B, if you're on the basic site, is maybe PM or reach out to Julian. Julian, are you on the site right now, on the old site? Maybe he can connect with you that way to get hooked up to the Rocket chat. What do you think? Is that a plan?
Yes. If anyone has any trouble, PM me on the site and I will help you. PMs work better than email right now.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, everybody, this is a massive class. We have a lot of people here. So let's go slowly. We're just going to go step by step and make sure that we have all our bases covered. We actually wanted to do this basic introductory class twice because it was so important to us that we get you set up and headed in a good direction all on the same beat. So Chris B is having a bit of a challenge here. He says, I can't get into the lounge either. And you know, we're going to run into curveballs. This will happen. Probably, Chris, if you could maybe shoot us a quick email, maybe at admin@therationalinvestor.co. That's one way you could maybe converse with us. Maybe what we might need to do here, Chris, and this is great that we're starting off with a nice hurdle here so we can, you know, deal with these things right away. Maybe what we'll do is we'll work together with you since you're just starting to try and get set up here. Maybe you can come to the Wednesday session as well, because we will have 2 sessions here through the week to try and help out everybody. Just make sure everybody's rocking and rolling. So, and it's interesting too. I love this about this group. We have a lot of sort of peer-to-peer interaction, a lot of peer-to-peer support. You know, we've got the TAs here just rocking things. The people in the general site lounge, they are awesome people to try and help out. And I even see, Chris, that your fellow classmates are actually suggesting a few things for you to consider as well. So I think we'll get you taken care of. And, you know, in today's daily brief video for, you know, just making reference, I made a pledge to all of you that we at TRI seriously honor your trust in us. It's very important for me to feel as though you can relax. You can, in essence, kind of let your guard down and open yourself up to learning new concepts. and new ideas. And so as a result, I just wanted to, and, I'll reiterate it. I want to make my solemn pledge to you that, if we do have site issues, it takes some time to get these things going. And we're still feeling out and trying to, figure out this new automated platform. If it takes us an extra month to get through this level 1 program, I'm not going anywhere. The information we're teaching you here, it works. Great part about it is a lot of you are crypto oriented. So I actually think crypto right now is going to take a bit of a pause. So it's not like you're missing out on some great party. So if anything, just have a little bit of patience with TRI as we go through our growing pains here. And just believe from my heart that we are sincere. We have your best interest at heart. And we will just keep working until each and every one of you feels as though, number one, you get good value for your money spent. And number two, that you've been heard. And if you have questions, we are here to help. That's our honest commitment to all of you. So with that said, I think what we're going to do here this week is what I really like is Julian has created sort of our site administrator and basically the sort of chief architect of this automated plan. He's created a bit of an agenda that I think we would be best to try and follow so that we have a clear path and a clear plan. I'm still very much feeling myself out here, so I'm leaning heavily on Julian for guidance through this. But in essence, he's put together our agenda, and right off the bat, the very first question that we want to ask everybody is, does anybody need help accessing any of the site or site issues? So any of the site resources. So it's actually very good looking at the YouTube page and seeing people like, I think his name was Bill, was it? Chris, I beg your pardon, Chris, just basically right off the bat, hey, I need some help. And hopefully, Chris, you feel like, holy shit, these guys are listening. So this is your opportunity. We have both Garrett and James watching very closely for questions. And what I think I'll probably mention right now is, and we did this actually to great effect last week. I was very, very pleased with what I saw happen here. Now the just question is, I got to find the darn document. Where did it go? That is our questions. Oh boy, the questions are coming in fast and furious, eh? So we have this document here, Q&A document. You can see here we are today, Monday. You can see people are posting their questions. And by all means, if you have any questions with regard to, I can't access this, I can't access that, when the hell is this guy going to stop talking, whatever, that's the document to do it in. And hopefully, your questions are relatively nice, and and I won't feel like, oh, geez, why'd you ask me that, man? Yeah, did I shower today? Yeah, I did shower today. You're all good. But that document is for you. This is a very large class, so please understand the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you have questions, make sure to ask. And really, that's the whole point of this open TA concept here, these group tutorials. So with that said, I'm going to go back to our agenda. We gave everybody the opportunity. I don't know whether, I've been blabbing away here, talking a little bit about site admin and sort of getting us up and running here. But the instruction, the agenda note was take 5 minutes and ask if anybody needs help accessing anything on the site. What do you think, TAs? Have we given people enough opportunity to ask questions and reach out if they can't connect? See if any of my TAs probably all gone to sleep by now. Did I slowly put you to sleep?
I think we're all good.
Awesome. Thank you, Garrett. Garrett, and if you haven't, probably a good idea maybe to take the opportunity. I'll just click on their icon. You've probably seen this. He's in the daily briefs every day. all-star student now, basically alumni on the site. Garrett goes by the screen name Bodie. Fantastic guy. I think we've already talked a little bit about this, but nonetheless, if I haven't, good introduction. Garrett, you want to say hi to these people?
Hi, guys.
All right. You can see our TAs. They haven't caught the Jesus. This guy loves the sound of his own voice. Let's see if James will outdo him. So our other TA is James. Again, James and I have been working very long time together. Is an alumni of the program. Was my number one TA last term, and you all should be warned. James probably most likely is going to be taking a good look at your exams. And so it was suggested for the level 1ers last term that maybe they should treat James nicely. But anyway, James, would you like to maybe come off mute and just say hi to everybody?
Hi, guys.
There you go. James. Awesome. Way to go. Thank you, man. James has an interesting internet connection down there in Arkansas. So again, another man of a few words, but nonetheless, when he does speak, we should all pay attention. And then finally, I think it is a good idea. You are going to be seeing him coming in and out through the background. A lot of you have been talking to him and emailing with him. He is the sort of mastermind behind this automated program. Julian, basically the TRI site administrator. Julian, would you like to maybe just come off mute and just say hello to everybody?
Hello, everyone. I'm furiously answering all of your questions. If you have any and want to see how many people it takes to overload me to where it seems slow, you can send me messages. Right now, I think I'm answering 5 people at once.
Okay.
Yeah, feel free to message me, send me emails anytime, and I will make it a promise to get back to you within 12 hours. I unfortunately do require sleep, so I do that from time to time. But most of the time, I will get back to you very quickly.
I have to hand it to Julian. I've worked in a lot of customer service and sales positions throughout my career. I've never seen anybody do the kind of customer service and quick turnaround response on support tickets as I've seen Julian do. I got to hand it to him. That's one thing that just is damn impressive about him. So if you do need help and I'm not available, Garrett's not available, James not available, by all means, if anything, the perfect backstop to this whole program is to have Julian just sort of sitting in the back wings and able to respond on a moment's notice. It's quite remarkable. So I have to say, guys, you're in pretty good hands here. You got one hell of a team of support here. And that was one thing that was really a big priority to me. Is to make sure that you feel like you're almost like enveloped in support. We really want you to feel like you just simply have no choice. There is going to be somebody just banging around behind you, beside you, on top of you, underneath you. You just can't get away from the support mechanism. So I think you're in relatively good hands. At the same time, too, like we've said before, we do have a little bit of a transition issue. And one thing we're going to do, and we sort of agreed to this, as we're waiting for the new site to come on, the Rocket Chat platform, which is, I think it's awfully lucky of us that we were able to get this thing up and running. It does have a pinning feature over on the side here. And if you click on that, you'll see that previous sessions and any sort of like key takeaways that was, like we really wanted you to concentrate on this particular thing, we'll post those here. So for the time being, if I understand correctly, I think Julian said that the new site should be up and running maybe by the end of the month. The beginning of next month, somewhere in that area. All the classes and group tutorials and anything that's really important that I really think you ought to pay attention to we will pin the messages directly here. So, after today's session is done, expect to see this video posted there. And if you need to watch it at any time, you can sit back and just comfortably play it at your leisure. Okay, let's see how I'm doing on the agenda. We got to put that away. There we go. How are we doing? Actually, let's maybe give a shout out to the Rocket Chat, and let's see how we're doing. Can we get some buy-in here? Are we all paying attention? Are you all listening to Brian? Is anybody falling asleep yet? Wake up. Here they come. All right. And there's actually, that's not a bad delay. That was only maybe about a second or two. So that's not so bad. But good to see we're getting some definite buy-in here. And that's one thing you're going to have to get used to here, people, is I don't really like passive participants. I'm going to demand that you be active. So I will every once in a while just stop everything and ask a question. And I expect an answer. With these programs, the more interactive you are, the more feedback, the more questions, like I said, squeaky wheel gets the grease, the better. And I'm not in any hurry here. I don't know, James, Garrett, Julian, does anybody want to let these good people know? Does Brian kind of like the sound of his own voice? Am I setting myself up for disaster? What's that, James? James was about to say something. Go for it, dude.
Brian likes the sound of his own voice, but it's all good stuff, huh?
So the point here is that I'm not going anywhere. You know the daily briefs. That's supposed to be a 10-15 minute video, and somehow mysteriously they turn into like hour-long sessions. If you have questions, I'm not going anywhere. We will just keep working away until the questions are answered. The issue, though, that I want everybody to fully understand is I want us to stay on topic. Every single week is going to be a brand new piece of material, going to be new learning objectives, and you're going to work, no doubt about it. Yes, I want you interactive. I want you asking questions, but let's try and just focus the questions on the current week's material. Okay, so how are we doing on agendas? Hopefully anybody who is watching on YouTube and is having issues with connecting with the site, you've reached out to Julian or James or Garrett if you could get a hold of them on either the site or send us an email, admin@therationalinvestor.co. We will continue to work with you until you do get on the site. The agenda is to help me, Curtis. It's to keep me on pace. You don't need to see the agenda. Okay, so we were going to go through, I think, hopefully everybody is up and running on the what do we call this? Thinkific site. If you aren't yet, then my suggestion to you is to go through and watch last week's pinned videos. Basically, this week is just going to be a review just to make sure we got everything covered here. You can either watch Mondays, and Julian did a very good job of walking everybody through step by step what has to be done. You can watch Wednesdays, but Wednesday we just repeated the video. So long and short of it here, there are resources on the site right now that you can get working on to get yourself set up here. And let's maybe get some buy-in. Just everybody was given a very specific set of instructions. So I'm just going to zip back and forth here. Last week, we had very specific assignments. We wanted to, of course, watch the meet and greet video. Let's see, people. Did we watch the meet and greet video? I sure hope so. We were supposed to follow Julian's very specific instructions. Did we follow Julian's very specific instructions? Did we click the links of the top of our level 1 introduction page? And when Julian is referring to that, I'm assuming that he is referring to these links. Is this what you're talking about, Julian?
What can you repeat that?
On the Rocket Chat, you gave everybody very specific marching orders. And I'm just sort of going through. So it just says, click links at top of your level 1 introduction page.
Yeah, because you have to download all of those
Totally fine.
instructions.
So
documents.
has everybody gone ahead and done this? Can I have some buy-in, people? Let me know. I'm listening. I'm waiting. And of course, did you have any problems doing so? This is the time where you need to step up and say something if you did. Good. Excellent. So I'm not going to just sit and wait, but if somebody did have a problem with any of these instructions, now's the time to reach out to James or Garrett or Julian. Julian, are you on this right now? Oh yeah, there he is. And ask for some help. You have to have this done, people. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Next step, we've downloaded all of our documents. I think it's a really good idea for everybody, and it doesn't cost you a penny to just go and set up a really simple free Gmail account and create Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets. You don't even have to look at these documents after you're done the course. You never have to log into that Gmail account ever again. But they're free. These tools we will repeatedly make reference to. I think it's a good idea. And it also makes it really easy for you to say, ask James, do you mind just looking at my trading plan, giving me your thoughts? Brian, do you mind? I took some notes through the daily brief today. Do you mind taking a look at them? I've had a lot of people already start to send me. In fact, we had one school member, can't remember who their name was. I think it was this Tamara, who actually went and took notes of the daily brief this morning and posted those notes for everybody to watch and read. And I was just like, that is beautiful. I mean, let's face it, guys. The only way you're going to learn this stuff is you got to get in the trenches and you've got to start paying attention, writing notes, getting to work. If Brian in the daily brief goes, if you've never seen that before, odds are probably ought to go in your journal. And that's exactly what Tamara did. Just sick work. I can tell you right now, I'm not quite sure if it's a male or female. I'm going to assume it's a female, Tamara. You've already scored major points with me, Tamara. So kicking ass, man. Rock on. That's what I want to see. Put the effort, put the time and effort into this, people, and you will learn this stuff. You'll get it. But if you don't put the time and effort in, you won't. I can absolutely guarantee you that right now. Tamara is a typical female. Careful, Curtis. Careful. All right. I think it's a really good idea for us to, on these documents to really, take ownership. Oh, is that your wife, Curtis? If it's your wife, you're allowed to. But for the rest of us, yeah. So on your documents, good idea to take personal ownership of this stuff. And of course, that's how the whole point of why you're taking this course is we have to build your plan around you. All right. Next big one, and of course you can see this takes us right down to the bottom. This is actually sort of your biggest assignment over this week, was that we had to actually start getting in touch with who we are, why we're doing this, where we want to go, and of course, what kind of baggage are we bringing to the table. Actually, I was so impressed with Garrett earlier today. Somebody had asked him, hey, Garrett, did you have any experience before you actually came to TRI and started learning and stuff? And his response was, no baggage to bring to the table. I was lucky. Which I thought was so cool. It was so perfect. Because I'll tell you, a lot of people that I work with, half of the time I have to spend with them is undoing the damage that's been done previously. And the only way you can do that is you have to release. So, you can wait for me to start beating up on you about journaling and verbal diarrhea, or you can just get off your butt and do it. I mean, it's just that simple, people. And it's not something that I can really pull out of you. You paid us money to try and learn how to trade. We want to psychologically set you up for success. So what you have to do is you've got to somehow hit the reset button. And that's the whole point of this, is we have to acknowledge our previous failings. It sucks, don't get me wrong. I mean, nobody likes to openly talk about them getting swindled or people stealing money from them. It's no fun. Or, some guy sold you a piece of swampland in Florida, or sold you a bridge in New Jersey. Nobody likes to admit that. It's embarrassing. But the problem is if that does happen, you are going to carry that baggage with you for the rest of your life. You have to somehow release. And, we could go to therapists. We could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on psychoanalysis. I'll tell you, and actually it was really cool. There was, whoops, somebody's got a question here. That's actually a really good question, Jason. So are we going to put this question into the Q&A document, let Brian sort of finish his rant and then hit these questions, or should I answer them as we go along here? Should I be distracted by this? What do you think, guys? Need some help here, Julian, James, Garrett. What do you think is the best route here? Anyone? Am I still connected? Hello?
Yeah, just stick to your agenda.
Okay, what was that? Sorry?
Go ahead, Bodhi.
All right. Maybe we'll work on our communication for future classes. No big deal. Maybe if you guys feel like saying something, maybe just type it in the text box here, an answer for me, and that way we don't feel like a broken telephone game. There you go. What was the question? Okay. The question was, I'm sort of going through my rant. Julian, you'd set me up. We're going to review journaling. We're going to review trade ledgers. We're going to review trading plans. So I'm sort of just walking through all the things that we needed to have done for today's class. And I just looked down and I happened to see a question. And so the question I have for you guys is, should I stop and answer the question, or should I just, all right, now let's stick to the agenda. All right. I've been told. All right, so let's keep moving forward here. So we talked a little bit about journaling. Now, on the site, I mean, it doesn't have to be rocket science here. Ironically enough, the simpler and easier you make this on yourself, the easier it is going to be to actually do it. And that's the key here, is we got to do it. I don't want you to set yourself up with, oh, I've got to, open this file and then save this, and then I have to remember that this has to go over here. No. Journaling could be something, and, I even joke in the lounge and stuff, it could be something as simple as just grabbing some toilet paper and just writing down your feelings, your observations, your notes. I used to see a lot of guys in the pit just journal off of like backs of envelopes. Holy Jesus, did you see that bid come across? That kind of thing. And they actually want to note the time, the actual size of the order, and the level, right? And then they'll go back later on and, transfer that data into something else. So it's not really like there's a right or wrong way to journal. What's really most important is you just got to journal. It doesn't really matter what time of day you journal. You could, maybe before you go to bed, simply just do a simple summary of, how am I feeling today? Obviously, if you're trading and you see stuff happening in the marketplace, it's relevant to make note of it while you see it. If you want to wait for like 8 hours later, you're probably not going to remember the fine details of what happened. The journal document itself can be handwritten. It can be, a Google Doc, could be a word processor like, Microsoft Word, Open Office, could be just simple notepad document. It doesn't have to be rocket science. I think there's 3 key components to every journal document, and basically, on the site tools that you were supposed to all download, we've given you just a really, really simple example. I'm not going to require that your journal look like that. That's silly. I mean, really, the point here is that this journal should look like you. But I think it's in your best interest to try and ask yourself these 3 questions, right? How am I feeling? If you're sick, tired, angry, drunk, you got no business trading. Did I see anything of note in the marketplace? Holy Jesus, did you see that bid wall? And then the market just took off and blah, 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 blah. Did I learn anything today? Right? And the great part about it is you guys here in this basic education program, I'm sure there is stuff you can learn every single day. And I can tell you, 30 years in the market, I'm still learning stuff every single day. Your journal and your journey, if you will, is just starting. And the sad part about it is it never ends. Like I said, 30 years into this, and it just keeps going. I will tell you this, and probably, this is going to be an interesting assignment, especially for those people who really like to journal and really like to take notes. I can absolutely tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the day that you figure that you know everything and that you're done learning is the day you're actually setting yourself up for failure. Don't ever put yourself in a position where your ego starts writing checks that you can't cash. None of us are perfect. And I would even argue a big function of being able to stay alive and survive in this game is staying humble, is being always thankful. What did I learn today? And, I think it's a great idea. Can I help anybody? Is there any way I can help somebody? Great way to sort of even the karma gods quota. I don't know. I'm a big fan of sort of like yin yang, and in a weird sort of way, everything's got to balance out. There's so much evil in this world. Why don't we be the good balancer, where we over good to sort of equal out this universe of nastiness? And really, you could argue that's basically a hallmark of the way I live my life. Okay, so journaling. What's the purpose? To release emotion. Also, to note nuances in the marketplace that you may not remember 6 months from now. And then finally, it is a huge release mechanism for your subconscious. So important to have that release mechanism. Now, if you're lucky, you're surrounded by people that you can talk to. But it's really interesting. There's something therapeutic about writing stuff out. I'm not quite sure why, but there is something very, very therapeutic about writing this stuff out. Okay. Next on the agenda, and let's before we're supposed to show you some examples. This is the template. I suppose for posterity, we'll pop on over to the old site, and I'll just grab the link of the demo trading plan that I would show others. Where the hell is that? That's over here. You can see I get a couple messages on a daily basis here. I don't really want people heading over to the site here so much. So all the, work off of the school resources that were given to you. But just for for illustration purposes, you can see, man, holy moly, and they just keep coming in here. Hey, there's Wayne. I'm sure Wayne's got something fun for me to look at. I am just going to simply show you. In fact, why don't we just we'll take this over here, and I want to go here. And actually, we have this in the library, right? So all of you guys, if you popped onto the library, you should see this. But your journal can be so simple. It doesn't have to be rocket science. That's not the point of this. So just here is a really simple example spreadsheet. Happens to be in the spreadsheet Word document that happens to be in the library, and you can see it's just very, very simple. What did I see? Did I happen to see something that caught my attention? How am I feeling? This is journal examples going back years now. So if you need some help as sort of guidance, what are the kind of things that Brian likes to have in his journal? Right? That's not a bad little reference for you. Okay, so let's put that away for now because I might come back and look at some of the stuff. Trade ledgers. So the next, we'll jump down here and let's take a quick look at Julian's trade ledger, TRI's example trade ledger. Again, extremely straightforward. Julian's actually given you some fun little tools and stuff in here that are just nothing more than functions of your account. Do you need this in this document? No. Really, all I care at this point, let's see if we can show you the example one that I used to give out. Where the heck is it? Over here. And really, the interesting thing about things like journaling and things like spreadsheets is the simpler you keep this, the more likely you're going to do it. And so with that in mind, I want you to have this as simple and as raw as possible. So I happen to have a spreadsheet here. As examples, same sort of thing like I just showed you. Here was a setup that we were attempting to trade back 6 months ago. Here is just the simplest spreadsheet model off a Google Doc. And you can see there isn't a heck of a lot written here, and there doesn't have to be. The most important thing here is this stuff, right? If anything, the only thing that really matters to a guy like me when it comes to building logs right now is this line. You want to grab a spreadsheet, right, and just copy this one line? Perfectly fine by me. What is it about this that's so important? Oh, my goodness. What are you guys going on there? Anthony, do you understand what they're going on about there? Anthony Testa is posting a whole bunch of fun stuff in there. UTA guys, are you chatting with him? I'm not quite sure. I just look over and I see people posting a whole bunch of fun stuff. Thank you, James. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. See, this is why I need you guys. Like when I look over and I see that, I'm like, oh Jesus, where the hell are these people going? So this is exactly where I need you guys. So thank you very much. Okay, so the important thing about logging is we really have to track everything that we do in the marketplace, everything. And I would even argue that hopefully, in fact, maybe it's probably a good idea we make reference to this now. If you decide to use Julian's spreadsheet or, TRI's example, I shouldn't say Julian, say TRI's working example spreadsheet, perfectly fine. You want to use this other TRI spreadsheet, just really, really simple, perfectly fine. The amount of nuance you put into your spreadsheet following and tracking what you're doing in the market, that's entirely up to you. And it's a total discretionary decision. We have one In fact, there he's in the lounge right now. One alumni, Grim. Oh man, have you ever seen his spreadsheets? Woo, you could launch a rocket with those damn things. He, of course, and a lot of you guys are heavily into the computer industry, so you guys know this stuff probably way better than I do. You can take it to that degree if you want, but you don't have to. I would actually argue, ironically enough, it's actually in your best interest, in my opinion, to get rid of a lot of that automation. Like when I saw people above posting scripts to do all this and that, I would actually argue it's in your best interest to get rid of all that. Take it right down to bare bones. Obviously, the date, that's kind of important. What is it I'm doing? Am I buying? Am I selling? Well, that's pretty simple. What price? This stuff's pretty straightforward, eh? Exit, win, loss. Obviously, if we're just putting on a new idea, we won't fill those in now. They'll be filled in after the trade. Why am I actually doing this? I think at this point, I don't even really care what your ideas are. Frankly speaking, I don't even care whether you make or lose money. To be perfectly honest with you, and as we sort of outline in the course material, and please don't be insulted by the way that I talk here, but do you all appreciate that you're taking this course because you're telling me this, but in essence, I think of all of you guys as babies, right? Where the hell am I going here? I want to be over here. No, not that page. I'm a baby because I don't know where the hell I'm going. Here we are, over here. The evolutionary process of all traders, right? I honestly believe, and it's not insulting. Don't get me wrong. It's not insulting, but I honestly believe you are all babies. And I think it's actually in your best interest to put your money away right now. I really do. You paying me money to learn this. So is it an idea maybe to listen to your instructor's suggestions? I actually see the people that actually listen to and do what I ask, they learn so much faster. They pick up concepts so much quicker because they aren't psychologically burdened. So my advice to you is, as I said right now, I don't even really care whether your ideas make or lose money. And really, I would actually suggest, I'd highly suggest to all of you, you put your money away and let's learn the process. So what does that mean? At this point, like I said, you are going to track every single thing that you do in the market from now on. You have no choice, because how are you going to gauge whether you can follow a plan, whether you can do what you said you're going to do if you don't track everything that you do religiously? So, number one, you're just going to write down, today I was really interested, and we can just do it really simply, right? What is today? Let's give you an example. Monday, January 22nd. So we're going to go 01, 22, 18. We're going to, let's throw it out to the panel. First person to answer. Are we going to buy or sell? Give me something. Anything. I don't really give a rat's ass. Are we buying or selling? Buying. Casey says we're buying. All right. What the hell are we buying, Casey? We're buying something. I have no idea what it is. All right. Let's just randomly pick something. We are going to buy. Do we want to buy? Oh, how about this NBT? Boom. We just bought NBT at 91.88. Merry Christmas. Jing, 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 jing. Filled 91.88. So we're going to come into our spreadsheet and we're going to simply say, what was that? 91.58. And that was to buy NBT, wasn't it? NBT, BTC. And now Casey's going, I wanted to buy, but I didn't want to buy that thing. Jesus H. Christ, what are you getting me into here, man? All right, so, ironically enough, this is the hardest part of the whole assignment, just actually recording what it is you did. Obviously, like we said, we're in this trade. So at this point, we don't really have to worry too much about this. We will worry about this after the trade is done. Next reason, and really right now, it's not relevant. Why don't we just say, a hunch? All right, perfectly fine. Now, what are we going to risk to? This is really important for those that have come to me to learn how to trade. For those that have come to me just to simply learn how to little old lady nanny nibbles, and of course we'll get to that later on when we talk about different risk management strategies and trying to figure out what risk taker you are. We'll discuss risk and stops later on in the program. For now, if you just simply want to say, I'm just going to little old lady this, nanny nibbles. So as a result, I don't have to worry about stops because I'm risking less than 5% of my stake on any single idea. You'll understand that more as we go through strategic planning and all that kind of stuff down the road. But for now, we're just keeping this really simple. Do you see what the process I'm going through here of logging my activity? People? That's right. Julian says if it's more work, you put more thought into what you are doing. Excellent comment, Julian. All right. Here, since we're thinking little old lady, probably want to say something like we're going to sell half on a double, right? So that means that at 18,300 and change, we'll let half of it go. I don't really need for you to worry too much about that. What I really want you to concentrate on here is now you have to track NBT from 91.58 and just simply watch what happens. Because we're going to little old lady this, we don't really have to worry too much about risk as we move further and further down the road. And if you want to explore setups and margin trading and leverage trading, then stops are going to become much more important, but we don't necessarily need to deal with that right away. If you just want to leave your strategy and your logging at this for the time being, I'm okay with that. What I would suggest you do, though, for those people that are interested in quote unquote learning how to trade, we're going to take the ball one step further. Does anybody know offhand what this RR ratio refers to? I'm sure there's a few people here that probably can answer that. I see Crypto Rue is writing 2-1. Well, what does that mean? Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Mark. Excellent. Good job, Casey. All right, the answers are pouring in. For those people that want to learn how to trade, we have to understand that we're going to be taking a little bit more risk. And so as a result, we actually have to define specifically where we're wrong on our thesis. And by definition, if we can figure out where we entered and where our stop is, where we've determined where we're going to be wrong on an idea, then by definition, that will actually paint the target. So ironically enough, if you actually come to a trading idea and you know what the entry is, and you know what you're willing to risk to, if you follow some basic risk to reward principles that we're going to teach you in this course, then ironically enough, the market is actually going to tell you where your target is. You're not going to tell the market where the target is. So what do I mean by all that? Let's say, for instance, we'll look at this NBT idea. And you remember this guy, Brian's like, W's are good. I should try and buy W's. So, we kind of, the first example that we did was just a little old lady. We're going to put less than 5% of our portfolio in. At this point, in fact, you can even write on here just something like bought at. You've probably seen, probably a good idea to spell it correctly, though. And we don't even understand reasons for a trade. So really, we don't even really need any of this stuff. We don't need the indicators. This Brian guy says, you know what? We're just working on the process right now. So let's just put all this stuff away. And we just said we were going to buy this asset at little old lady level. And we're just going to let our money work. So at this point, we can just simply take a screenshot of this. And does everybody see how I'm doing this? We're going to copy the trade. We can see very specifically where we bought at. And it's a nice, pretty chart. And we're going to go and plunk that right into our chart link. Boom. If you'd like to, we can make reference to sell half on a double. Why don't we put a nice big line up there? Or we can say, I like to sell halves on doubles. So that is now my trade idea. The irony of it all is that if I saw this and you had posted in this lounge, I'd probably go and buy some right now. We will say order working to sell half on a double. Oops. Let's see if we get that right. On a double. All right. Something as simple as that. And actually, why don't we update that just for posterity? That, if you want to leave it at that for the time being, you're tracking your little old lady nanny nibbles, perfectly fine. If I saw you post this as a spreadsheet entry, I would be tickled pink. Does everybody see how I did that? Here, Brian, I don't really want to leverage trade. I don't want to be a futures trader. I just want to build my portfolio, and I want to learn this thing called the process. Well, there you go. Boom. Now, if you say, well, Brian, I'm here to trade, and I want to kick some butt trading, well, we can build a plan around that. Obviously, our risk management strategy is going to change, and we're going to increase leverage used. Again, like I said, we will talk lots about that down the road. Don't worry too much about that right now. What I am simply going to suggest to all of you, though, is if you do want to go down this road, we can't leave the analysis at this. What we have to do now is we have to come over to this side panel here. We have to go, where the hell is it? It's one of these. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th box down. We have to go, and in this particular case, we're going to buy. So we have to select this long position tool. We then are going to take our mouse over to that level, and it could be today, it could be yesterday, it could be that day if you wanted to. And you simply say, well, this Brian Beamish guy says that W's are the shit, so I'm going to take his hunch or whatever, and I'm going to buy this W. Odds are, W's work about 60, I would even say 70% of the time. So, just incorporating W thinking into your trading is going to greatly increase the odds of success for you. And that might be something that you're like, whoa, really? Actually making money from trading can sometimes be just as simple as this. Just force yourself to only take W's. So the point of the W, and we'll talk lots about this later on in the course. There's no hurry to learn this stuff right now. But the point of the W is, if I actually buy the W, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to risk to the break of the bottom of the W. So now in my trading spreadsheet, now you can see I'm going to buy at that 90, whatever the hell the number was. What did we say? 90 something, 91 or something, wasn't it? And maybe if I change this to a line chart, you'll see the W a little better. Everybody see the W now? Down, up, down, breakout. See the W? If you wanted to, and I certainly wouldn't fault you if you wanted to say, well, Brian, I see this really big W with the candle wicks, it goes all the way up there. So I'm going to buy the breakout above there and I'm going to risk down to here. That's fine. I don't really care. Like I said, at this point, I don't care whether your ideas make or lose money. We're just practicing this thing called the process. So hypothetically here, we said that we were going to buy this W. And by definition, we said that if we trade W's, then we're just going to simply risk to a break of the bottom of the W. So we're going to take our little risk tool. Hopefully everybody saw how I did that. And now if I buy here and I risk to here, I know automatically exactly what my risk is on this trade. Hopefully we all understand that. That is super important, because our profit objective has to be a function of this number. It has to be. Now, I used to work with, and probably you guys watched in the library and stuff. I really like you guys listening to people like Dr. Andrew Menaker. If you haven't, I would highly suggest you do so. Set you up psychologically to succeed at this game. Guy manages, he as well as a trader himself, he's a psychiatrist to like billion-dollar hedge fund dudes. So if it works for them, obviously it's probably pretty good for you to pay attention to. But we have just a general rule, and a good doctor always talks about it. The way that we actually define whether we're a winning trader or a losing trader is really simple. You just simply want to try and make sure that your average winning trade is bigger than your average losing trade. How do you do that? And that's where this risk-reward metric comes in. What you have to understand, guys and girls, is that psychologically, when you are in a position, your subconscious is going to want to try and get you out of that position as fast as possible. Because in essence, being in a position is a uncomfortable position. It means there is open-ended risk. You could lose everything. So your subconscious, trying to keep you alive on the African savannah, blah, 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 is going to want to do everything it possibly can to get you the fuck out of that dangerous situation. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen. So what ends up happening a lot in trading is that to sort of feed the need to be right, we will psychologically convince ourselves to get out of trades as quickly as possible. But this is a trap, because you have to understand, people, you're never going to be right 100% of the time. You will be wrong. You will be stopped out. It happens to the best of us. In fact, and I'm sure a lot of you, let's actually see if anybody even knows, what's the typical CME pit trader? What are they expecting as this sort of percentage accuracy of their calls? I think the market's going to go up. What do you think their sort of percentage accuracy they're looking for? Right? And that's really important. If you do not know that number, you better write it down. Well, 50%, Curtis, there wouldn't be an edge. The whole point is that 5% CME floor traders look for 55% accuracy. That 5% is their edge. So if they're not expecting to be right that often, how the hell do they make money from trading? Got to be something. Something must happen. And here is the something. When they are right, they get paid relative to when they're wrong. That's the key to this game, guys. I don't know whether I've just given you the secret of trading. I wonder if any of you actually really appreciate it. Some guy's fighting with his iPhone. I just gave you the secret of trading, but I don't know whether you got it. Well, the cool part about it, Stephen, and you're going to learn, and I guess maybe we'll open up that module at the end of today's session. But what you're actually going to learn is I think we can get that edge up into the 60, 70%. And if you can get that edge up above 70%, and the key here is when you are right, you get paid relative to when you're wrong. That's what makes you a successful trader. Simple as that, guys. Simple as that. So, with our sort of trader mindset here, I would like everybody to get into the habit that if you are going to practice trading setups, you are going to clearly identify where you're entering. You are going to clearly identify where you're willing to risk to. And by definition, that paints your profit objective. And I don't want you to consider a trade idea unless it has at least a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Again, you're here to learn the process. Frankly speaking, I don't really care whether this trade idea works. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, let's pick a crazy market here. Well, let's take Japanese yen. It doesn't really matter what the asset is. And you're going to be like, oh, Brian, I'm going to buy here and I'm going to risk against here. And so that means by definition, I have to look for my reward of at least 2-to-1. So my profit objective is right there. And I'm going to go, awesome. Now, frankly speaking, I have no idea whether this trade's going to work. What you're going to do, record the level, record the risk too. By definition, it paints the minimum profit objective. You're going to go grab your screenshot like I did here. And you're going to go put it in your trade journal. All right. So here we have an example of, oops, did I do that right? I just screwed that up. Let's see what pops up here. Porn? Oh, no. Okay, that's good. All right, so here you're going to have an example of little old lady logging, getting to know yourself. Here, this is a setup where our objective is, what does that say, 15,386. We know that the risk reward is 2-to-1. We know what the entry price is. And by definition, we know what the stop is. All right. We're going to say our stop here is 48.44. Okay, so in essence, little old lady, right? Nanny Nibbles, maybe paint that blue. And margin trader, leverage trader, I don't know, paint that yellow. Everybody see what it is I'm going for here. Do you think you can work away on this? I just clicked the present to everyone button. Did that help a little bit? Oh, good. Everybody see what I just went through. Do you think you can do this? Again, you are here to learn the process. All right, so everybody's really jazzed about the fact that I maximize my screen. Did anybody actually listen to what I just did there for the past 15 minutes or so? Just out of curiosity. Please add that clause. Oh, what's going on here? It opens after the Wednesday group tutorial, so no one gets early access or confusion. Oh boy, I have no idea where you're going, Julian. Julian, did you want to try and tell me something here? Can you just come off? I hate text. It never works. Can you just verbally tell me what's on your mind here? No? maybe when you get a moment and you can verbally come up.
You said, Brian, you said week 2 material.
Yeah.
You said that it's going to open after this class. I thought we agreed we should wait till after the Wednesday class, because then the students might feel, they might enter it and get confused or something.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the clarification. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying here. Half the time I'm just sort of talking out my butt, right? So thank you for the clarification, Julian. Please understand your level 2, or not level 2, week 2, the strategic planning, where we actually get into the really heavy lifting of the course. We will open that at the end of Wednesday's class. Did I get that right, Julian? Yes. All right, good. Okay, so does everybody understand the process and what I want you practicing right now? And I can absolutely tell you, the more you do this, the more practice you have to learn this lifestyle. This is your life. At the present, like I said, setups, reasons for taking these trades, not relevant. Not whether you make or lose money on the trade, not relevant. And ironically enough, I actually want to see you lose money. I want to see you get stopped out, and I want to see you note that you got stopped out, and I want to see, just even, God, when the hell am I going to learn how to actually, find half decent setups? That'll make you hungry. But for now, we have to get used to this thing called the process. Obviously, the TRI Lounge, it's a pretty good place to find ideas, right? What do you think? Hey, you're throwing around ideas. And really, Jason, right now, I don't want you spending any money. That's not the point of this. The point is to learn the process. Did you see how I grabbed screenshots of this? On your screenshot, take the opportunity and really write this up. You might look back on this 6 months from now and not remember the context of this at all. So take the opportunity and write up, mark up your chart, grab the screenshot of it so that you can 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, go back and see exactly what you did. How do I grab a screenshot? Down here, you see this little camera button down here? All I got to do is just click on that, and it gives you a nice little link, and you just grab the link. Isn't that cool? Just for the hell of it, Gene. You want what color? Gene, what's your favorite color? Come on, Gene, give me your favorite color. Doesn't really matter. Okay, let's keep moving forward here. We'll be here all night. Does anybody have any questions about trade logging and what I want you to do now? The TAs, Julian will grab those questions, throw them in the document, and we'll go through them point by point by point. All right, so big objective of this week was we had to get the idea of journaling down. We had to get the idea of logging. And then another big document that we really need to get basically up and running here through this week is the trading plan. I'm already starting to get some really cool trading plans because a lot of you are going through the whole verbal diarrhea exercise, which is totally awesome. Like we said, Tamara doing some great notes and journaling and note-taking to begin with, even today. So I'm seeing this already. Well, for right now, Jamie, it's not that relevant. Because remember, I just want people getting into the practice of what's the price I entered, where's my risk level, what does that mean, the minimum risk reward level I need to be hunting, and so where do I have to wait for price to go to take profits? That's the really big exercise that we need to learn now. If you want to add in sizing, it's kind of tough to get into sizing right now because we have to sort of figure out what type of risk taker you are. If you're a little old lady, well, then that's just a percentage of your portfolio. If you're a derivatives trader, well, that's one ratio. If you're a margin futures trader, that's another ratio. If you are what we call a Joe six-pack, where this is just a typical retail broker client, well, that's a different ratio unto itself. So I don't really want you focusing on trade size right now. What I want you focusing in on is the process. Did that help answer the question? I think, though, Jamie, you're like trading away, though, aren't you? Jamie's been around the site for a while. He's been waiting very patiently to get into the school program. So it's understandable some of you are trading right now. I would recommend that we just dial that back a bit while you're in the school program. And let's just focus in on the process. Okay, actually, I'm just going to close the window. I'll be right back. Okay, so as I had said earlier, I'm starting to see trading plans come back. So that's good. Keep looking at charts and wait for them to speak to me. Oh, okay. Well, eventually, Sean. What's really cool, and I highly encourage everybody. I talked about this last week, Sean. Do you see how that would be such an awesome journal entry? John says, I keep looking at the charts and wait for them to speak to me, and nothing's happening. What's really cool is when you get to the end of this program, Sean, you will see that the charts will be speaking to you. And having that journal entry from the beginning of this program, oh, man, that is so cool. Keep in mind, everything that you should be working with here off of the site, you should access off of your Thinkific school page. So everybody signed up on this page, correct? Okay, so final thoughts about trading plans. At this point, ironically enough, guys, you have not gone through any of the strategic planning module. You have not gone through the tactical module, and you really have no idea what trade setups are. I don't expect any of this filled out. The only thing I expect filled out at this point is your name. That's it. Now, as we go through our verbal diarrhea exercise, and I'm already starting to see people do it, it's so awesome. But as we go through the verbal diarrhea exercise, we're going to really get in touch with who am I? Why am I doing this? Where do I want to go? Is this even appropriate for me? And of course, I think it's critical that you always ask yourself whether what you're even proposing to do is even appropriate. If you have like 4 kids, you're pumping gas, you can barely make the rent, going and being a futures trader is not appropriate for you. Okay, so, trading plan wise, this document will be filled in as we work through the course. Basically week by week by week by week, all of these columns, everything will be filled in based on the answers that you give to things like the in-class quizzes. We used to have a homework document. I don't think we're going to work off of specific homework assignments. What should happen is as you work through the modules week by week by week, to move on to the next module, you'll have to have the mini quizzes, assignments answered. And by answering those questions, it should furnish you with the data that you need to fill in your trading plan. Does that make sense? I hope so. If you have questions, poke the TAs and we'll attack it a bit more when we get to the Q&A part here. Okay, so that was the big documents that we needed to fill out today. Trading plan, our ledger, just to simply our log, just to simply track what everything that we're going to be doing in the market, and then of course our journal. Let's see what this actually tells us. So this is the slideshow of the video that we kind of wanted you to go through. If you have any questions specifically about this, feel free to ask. It should be fairly straightforward. The only thing that we'll say here is, some of these references are to the old program. I apologize if they're a bit confusing, but on balance, most of the information here is pretty straightforward. What are we going to do? What's Brian's background? What are the kind of stuff that we need to succeed at this? Okay. In essence, these were two documents that I'd like for you to have read and be able to converse with me about. The evolutionary process of all traders, we just talked about that a little bit a few minutes ago. I actually do think that you're babies. No offense. Going to try and teach you the process and understanding how to work with a trading plan, get you standing on your own 2 feet by the end of this program. And then, most of my level 2ers, they're at this stage where they're sort of just walking around the market, having a nice, simple, enjoyable experience. It's interesting, even in the lounge, crypto prices are kind of soft right now. And even in the lounge, people were posting, horrible messages of guys destroying their accounts, blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't really happen at TRI. That's not the way that we operate. And our people, they don't ever operate that way because we are absolutely obsessed about risk management. So what should end up happening is by the end of this, at the end of this course, you should all be responsible, very well-mannered, very risk-appropriate participants in the market, and really you shouldn't ever be blowing up your accounts. That just doesn't exist. Ultimately, we want to get you to the point of really kicking ass in the market. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, TRI has made many, many millionaires. It's quite shocking how much these people have made. So this shit works. It does. But you have to understand the only way you're going to get here is you got to learn how to behave, right? Then you've got to practice and rinse and repeat. And we'll eventually get to you to here. Most of my level 3ers, they're at this stage. They're running around, trading setups, risk management, banging out doubles, triples, quadruples, quintuples, ridiculous returns. And they're just really having fun in the market. And that's really what I want to get you guys to. As I had said earlier, I think it's in your best interest. Put your fucking money away. You're not here to make $1 million over this 3-month course. That's not the purpose of this course. The purpose of this course is to teach you the process. You have to learn the process. Once you learn the process, then I have no problem with you going out making all the money you ever need for the rest of your life. Not a bad idea. And I also noticed this too. A lot of students that say, okay, Brian, I am going to hunt these setups and I am going to paper trade them, put my money away, and I'm going to learn this setup. The people that have done that, man, these people are just evil traders now. It's beautiful to watch them in action. We've got one, he's an alumni now on the site, Sebastian. Just the nicest, sweetest, most, down-to-earth, humble guy who's just fucking tearing the market apart. It's incredible. And when I worked with him through the level 1 program, he basically said, Brian, I'll do what you tell me to do. And he went and found 45 Altangonators, right? Has anybody ever heard of the Altangonator setup on the site? He worked through the level 1 program, got to the point where he had his trading plan, and he just said, Brian, I've gone through all the setups. Once we go through the eating your vegetables part of the course, we'll actually force you to head on over to the library and start learning the setups. He got really jazzed about this thing called the Hollywood Nick setup, which is just simply looking for divergence. Thomas talked about this in videos today. You know, this stuff happens all the time in the market. He literally paper traded 45 setups. 75% went to the 2-to-1 target. 25% got stopped out. His account balance, huge numbers. And at the end of it, and he literally invested like 2 or 3 months into the process. By the end of it, I just asked him, Sebastian, so what do you think of this? And he's like, I'm trading this for the rest of my life. I mean, I don't even think about it. I just see them come in and I just take them. Don't even think about it. And that is where we have to get you. In fact, have any of you guys ever heard me talk about a gentleman by the name of Ray Burchett? Where the hell is that El Tangonator picture? There it is. Ray Burchett. Has anybody ever heard me talk about Ray Burchett? And actually, this would be an interesting quiz. Let's see if anybody can tell me. What is Ray Burchett's magic number? So you all know Thomas's nickname for him, but that's not what and of course, we'll cover this in great detail in the Fibs module. But anyway, Mr. Burchett is a big fan of 38.2 Fib, right? What we call the Roy's barbecue level. Where was I going with all that? I can't even remember. Anyway, point of the matter here was Sebastian did log 45 of these darn trades. Again, 75% win rate, which is pretty damn good. What did I say the floor traders are looking for? Anyone? Does anybody remember? What is a professional floor trader looking for in a degree of accuracy of setups? So if I can teach you a tool that gives you 75% accuracy, what do you think? Is that a pretty kick-ass tool? I hope you guys see how powerful this shit is. So anyway, point of the matter here is Sebastian did it, and now he believes. Oh, that's where I was going with that. Ray Burchett teaches a course out of New York called Intuitive Development for Traders. And that's important, that word intuitive. Because what we have to do is we have to get you to the point where that's not where I want to be. Where did I load it? I guess over here, right? Hey, there we are. Not that. Actually, I'm going to put that away for now. This one? Yeah. We have to get you to the point. Do you think, and I think this is a girl. I've had other people in the past go, well, I think that's a boy, Brian. But I'm going to call her a girl. And how the hell do I zoom in here? Oh, yeah, over here. Do you think that she is worried about falling down here? Do you think that she is worried about tripping over her shoes? The answer simply is no. She sees something, she's going for it, and all of this about running the machine of her body is entirely intuitive, unconscious, right? That's where we have to get you. Very difficult, don't get me wrong. And frankly speaking, I don't have a problem whatsoever if all of you are sitting here right now going, Brian, I mean, I know the guy's full of hot air and geez, he sure sounds, he sure loves the sound of his own voice, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe him when he says this is 75% accurate. That's perfectly all right. That's in fact, that's what I want. I want your subconscious to go, fuck you, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. That's good. Because then that means you're a human being. You're alive. You're skeptical. Totally fine by me. And the whole point of us going through this process is to convince your subconscious of the validity of this setup. Once you get to that point, if you ever can, trust me, it's a damn fucking difficult place to get to. But once you get to that point and you believe, and you put the hard work and effort, don't just listen to this clown teaching a course, but you've put the hard work and effort into learning this and convincing your subconscious of the validity of trading setups and working with a plan and holding yourself to account, then you can start acting like this in the marketplace. That's where we have to get you. But the only way you can get here is you have to put in the hard effort. And I don't have a problem. Your subconscious right now doesn't believe, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, now you're posting jokes and artwork is in the lounge. All right, that's cute. Julian says this is everybody in the level 1 program right now. There you go. Who am I? How can this fit my lifestyle? Ooh, I like that. What do I want? Oh, that's really good. I mean, really articulate. What the fuck do you want? I mean, seriously, let's quit bullshitting. What do you want? And then let's set you up to fucking go and get it. But I can't help you if you don't know what you want. All right. Thank you, Julian. That's a very interesting image. El Tangonator. Such a great setup, man. You guys, in fact, we even had one just happen in Bitcoin over the weekend. It's remarkable how accurate it is. Okay, let's keep moving this train forward. It'll be here all night. Okay, I think it's a good idea. The last document that we wanted to review was this idea of releasing the beast from within. We have to all understand, of course, we really asked everybody to journal. Oh, did we lose the picture here? I guess is that why we had to put that picture into the lounge there? There's supposed to be a really cool picture there. And in essence, this is the life that you have signed up for. I don't know whether you realize it or not, but this is what you've signed up for. We're going to build our plan. We're going to try and identify all of the supports that we need to have in place for us to succeed. What kind of equipment, what kind of time, what kind of capital, what markets are we trading, when are we trading, what times of day, everything must be fully vetted ahead of time. What is the reasons why we're going to trade, right? We're then going to, and like Sebastian did, we're going to study a setup. Well, you don't really need to read this right now. Just listen to me, Joshua, right? I mean, you can go and grab this document anytime, right? We're going to practice trading setups. We'll get to that later on. Once we've sort of decided on a setup, just like Sebastian, if you want to practice El Tangonator, it's pretty simple. I don't really have a problem with that. What should happen here, though, Nicholas, is I don't really want you focusing on setups right now. Right now, you need to be focusing on the very specific tasks I give you week to week to week. The week 2 material, strategic planning, we will open that up on Wednesday, and I can absolutely guarantee all of you, you could easily spend 24 solid hours between this week and next week working on that module. It's a lot of information. So I do understand people are like, when are we going to get going? When are we going to get going? When are we going to get going? But if anything, what do you think? Does it feel good here, guys, that we're going over this stuff repeatedly? We're making sure everybody's connected to all the tools. We just keep saying the same things over and over and over to make sure that you're all set up for success. I hope so, because that's really our intention here. So once we've sort of decided our plan and our setup, then really the question is, can we implement the plan, right? This is where, going back to things like logging very accurately everything that we actually do, we're actually going to find out whether we can actually follow our plan or not. And what you guys need to understand, and this is why it's so important to have that little image, what you need to understand is that there are two very distinct and different ways to fail at this. I don't know, can everybody see that? I mean, you guys are in the background there, so I don't know whether this is the best way to do this. That doesn't really do very much. How am I going to do this? Can I go to a new tab? There we go. Maybe I should zoom in here. All right. Can everybody see that in glorious Technicolor? Let's maybe move you back over here. How do I change that? Okay, everybody can see the wheel of fortune. This is your life, whether you realize it or not, where we're basically going to create a plan, right? We are going to, actually, where is that? We're sort of up here. We are going to create the plan. We're going to define our setups. We're going to basically commit to 20 setups following this particular plan. We're then going to have some analyzable data in our log. And here is the key. As I said earlier, there's two very distinct ways that you can fail at this game. And they're very unique. And it's critical as traders that we figure out which is it that's the problem. Because if you can't figure out which is the problem, you're fucked. You can't deal with this. That's why we need to log and we need to journal. So the first question is, did I actually follow my plan? And you would be surprised how many people fail at this game because they just simply can't follow the plan. You understand that? That's the whole point of us logging. Did we actually do what we said we were going to do? Does that make sense? Come in, Tokyo. Tokyo, are you out there? Tokyo. So, you want to succeed at this? You're on this wheel, whether you like it or not. Now, if it's a case that you cannot follow the plan, you can't do what you said you were going to do, well, we can build a whole bunch of tools and supports to try and help you do what you said you're going to do. Things like demon finders, right? Journaling, writing up on charts, my 3 specific reasons. Remember, Julian said earlier on tonight, the more work you put into this, the more accurate you're going to be. If you can just half-ass trades, odds are you're probably going to make mistakes. But if you have to go through the process of logging and grabbing the screenshot, writing up the 3 reasons, right? Because if I don't, Brian's going to be all over me because I'm not following the plan. Well, so be it. The question here, though, is can you do what you said you're going to do? Now, if it's just a case where, yeah, Brian, I had this set up. You can see my trading plan. I got stopped out 10 times in a row, exactly where I was supposed to get stopped out. I lost this money, but I did everything exactly like you told me to. Then I'd be like, fucking A, man. That you've actually conquered the hardest part of this game. And that is not letting your behavior fuck you over. Excuse my French. The reason why most people fail at this is they can't manage themselves. They can't control their behavior. So if it's a case where you can show me a trade log where, hey, look, I got stopped out exactly where I was supposed to. I did everything I did. I would give you a huge high five. And the cool part about it is I remember at the old prop firm, we used to have people that would say, because at the end of the day, we do a journal entry. How did my day go? And they would like say, I went 0 for 3. I got stopped out 3 times in a row, but I hit my personal loss limit and I shut it down. That to me is a really good anecdote of a good professional trader. I know. I love talking. I'm sorry. Julian's reminding me that we have a shitload of questions here, and I'm trying to teach you the whole course in 20 minutes. Okay, so no, don't be apologetic, right? You're driving the bus here, dude. I'm just the instructor. So I need, if anything, your guidance here. This is exactly what I need from you guys, because they'll be here. I don't know. Does anybody want to do a 4 or 5 hour class tonight? Right away, Julian's like, no, what the fuck are you doing? Shut up. I love it. Yeah, sorry guys, I love the sound of my own voice. I'm sorry. Okay, let's keep moving on. So if it isn't behavioral, then that's actually a good thing, because we can always go and build new setups. Setups are a dime a dozen. They come and go. They change with market state. We can come up with various different reasons to justify our acting. But the key here is we have to be able to manage our behavior. Does that make sense, everybody? And do you understand that this is the wheel that you live on? And where you are on your trading will basically be somewhere on this wheel. Get used to it. Okay, let's keep this train moving forward. I think probably I've said everything that I wanted to say here. So why don't we head on over to the Q&A document, and let's get answering questions. Okay, so where is that document? Is it in a special place? Should I go somewhere in particular? Is it that document we had up earlier? No. Is it over there? No.
Ryan, just go to the pin tab in the chat. Go to the rocket chat where everybody's posting.
Yeah.
And just go to the pin tab.
Okay, so I click on the pin, and Jamie.
Yep, just click that one. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just try and attack these one at a time. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so signing up with the Rocket Chat. Looks like we're good to go there. That's awesome. Where can we view shared trading plans so we can tighten up ours? The whole point of this Rocket Chat room that we've created here is this is basically your sort of safety zone, guys. It says level 1 Q1 2018 program. This is kind of like your incubator, right? Nobody's going to come in from the outside and bug you guys. Now, whether you want to interact with your peers or not, I'm going to leave that up to you. This is a pretty big class. And it almost kind of reminds me of university classes. I remember in like first year, second year university, you go into an auditorium, there's like 500 people in there. Jesus H. Christ. So in a weird sort of way, this is kind of like that. But we'll feel this out. There should be there usually is a fairly sizable attrition rate. We might even find that as we work forward, it might even be an idea that we branch into subgroups. Maybe James takes a few of you under his wing. Garrett takes a few of you under his wing. Maybe Julian. We'll feel that out. If you feel like you're being underserviced, then by all means, like I said, squeaky wheel gets the grease. I think for the time being, though, like I said, the Rocket Chat level 1 room, consider this your safe haven. You guys are all working together. Like Tamara earlier today, I thought that was awesome when she posted those notes. She didn't have to share that with you. I thought that was really, really nice of her. And that's sort of that 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing. I love that stuff. Oh, it makes my heart sing when I see that. So I hope that sort of answers that question. Through the group tutorials, ideally we would like to give you the opportunity, if you do have a question specifically about your training plan, you can always take your name off of it, maybe take the dollar sizes that you're working with off of it and location and stuff. And just, put up the basic framework of your plan and just throw it out for suggestions to people. You can PM Garrett and James. And as Julian was saying, I don't actually think that was before the class, but on the new site, we will have a tutorial booking system. So if you would like to actually have some one-on-one work with one of our TA staffers, you can, there's that open for you as well. Okay, what are different risk parameters can we utilize? Well, we will definitely get into that in week 5 of the program, where we spend a whole week talking about risk. So this is the kind of question where I would much rather we just simply wait till we get to that course material, and everything, of course, is going to be very, very well laid out. How do I get feedback on work I'm doing if one-on-one tutorials are no longer available? Well, technically they will be available. It's just that we're going to give you the group tutorial setting. And quite literally, whoever asked this question, I would just like you to chime up in the group tutorial. What is it that you're looking for here? What do you have questions about? Garrett, James, myself, Julian to a certain degree, if he's up for it, we'll be more than happy to give you our 2 cents. I have lots of people that are like, hey, Brian, can you take a look at my my verbal diarrhea right now? How am I doing? And I just tertiary look at it, say, looks like you're heading in a good direction. Way to go. Keep it up. Don't blitz me with questions. And as I said, if you really want that one-on-one session, on the new site, and it's only like a week or 2 away, so just everybody be patient. But on the new site, we'll have that function available for you if you want to book more tutorial time. Okay, what's your experience in implementing totally automated trading plans, non-judgmental? I don't quite understand that. Versus implementing trading plans that include judgment entry criteria. All right, so this is this is more a function of how advanced you are as a trader. I actually would like you guys to start off with the easiest road to go. I don't know what it is about trading, but quite often people actually set themselves up to start at the absolute hardest, most difficult, most anxiety-filled, most stressful situation possible. Uncle Bob just left me $5,000 in his will, and I just went and strapped on $5,000 worth of gold contracts. What the fuck are you doing? But I don't know why people like to do this. It's baffling to me. So what I'd rather you do is let's, first you crawl, then you walk, then you run. I would prefer that you start with very strict setups. What are my 3 reasons for considering taking a trade? And try and force yourself to stick to hunting those reasons. Show me 20 paper trades, then 20 1/10 size trades. Then I think you are ready to trade a full-size account with that setup. If you want to, as you progress, start including the ability to inject discretion into your trade decisions, that I think is more of an advanced concept. I don't even get into teaching people the ability to adjust stop loss levels and to actually add to winning trades until like level 3, really. I don't even think it's in your best interest to start going down the road of injecting discretion at this point in your trading. I just don't think it's a good idea. We used to have an old saying at the prop firm. Does anybody know what our job title is here? This is where Brian's wasting time again. I'm sorry, but I'd just be curious. We actually have a job title here. Does anybody know what our job title is? Look at all you guys just zipping around here. Wow. Does anybody know what? Hey, very good. Murphy got it. Murphy is the only person who knew it. Way to go, Murphy. Score some points there. We are technically, our job titles is discretionary traders. Did you know that? If you didn't, did I learn anything today? Well, I think there's something. Yeah, but that's Brian sort of cheeky. You won't find that. Brian Gaston says professional statisticians. So that's like Brian joking about what we do, in the market. But you won't find that on like an unemployment form. But there is actually a box for discretionary trader on like job title shit. So go figure, eh? If you wanted to know what our job title is, that's our job title. We are discretionary traders. But anyway, we used to have an old saying at the prop firm. Just because we are discretionary traders, that does not mean we have I screwed up the saying. Just because we are discretionary traders does not mean we can trade at our discretion. Go back and rewind that and hear it again. I'll say it again. Just because we are discretionary traders, that does not mean we can trade at our discretion. If anything, we actually have to go overboard in the other direction because it is up to us. There is nobody looking over your shoulder going, you sure you want to do that? There is nobody doing that, is there? So that means that we have to go out of our way to remove that discretionary, oh, fuck it, video game, just buy, video game, just sell. Because you're going to lose a lot of money if you do that, guaranteed. All right. How are we doing here? Should my trading plan include coins I am currently trading? Starting the fall, faking it? Or should I create it around a new investable amount? That's a really tough one. I think if anything, maybe take the assets that you're invested in right now and just put them to the side. The bottom line here is I want you to learn the process. If you are in a whole bunch of trades and they're going to be distracting for you, it's going to distract from you learning the process. So that's really up to you. My advice is, I've already explained it in great detail, put your money away. What is a conditional order? I used to trade on a platform called, well, actually many platforms, but one platform in particular when I was a futures trader. It's called the Cunningham T4. You guys maybe some of you have heard of it. Where should we put this? Actually, I might even have it over here. Oh, doesn't matter. Let's go here.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, you Mr. Who loves the sound of his own voice. Systems. So this is the old platform that I used to use and trade, and that's not it. What the hell is that? I used to trade with a forklift. Man, that must have been interesting. There we are. There's a T4. So if you'll notice on this system, I don't know whether we can see this or not. Let's see what happens. On the T4 system, they have a whole bunch of different ways that you can enter orders. Come on, you piece of crap. Open image in new tab. Is that going to work? There we go. I can't see it. Well, let's see what happens. All right, so you can see over here, there's a trailing order, stop loss. This is all blurry, so you can't really see it. But anyway, these buttons here would be OCO or AOCO. And if you click them, then what would happen is, you would enter an order, say to buy at this handle right here. And then your AOCO order, and that stands for A, automatic, O, order, C, cancels, O, order. So automatically order cancels order. You would instantly, if you placed your buy order here, you would see that your stop loss order and your profit taking objective order would be entered at exactly the same time. It give you like 3 or 4 different columns to fill in. And it's the way that I did all of my trading, right? Try and remove emotion, discretion from the whole trade process. And that is the definition of conditional orders. There's a whole bunch of conditions associated with it. And AOCO, if one of the orders, say the stop loss order was tripped or the profit objective order was tripped, then the system would automatically go in and cancel all remaining outstanding orders. So just simply put, conditional order in that regard. And, you know, we do see a few of them platforms like OKCoin has their trailing stop method. Actually, this isn't what I want to see over here. They have their trailing stop order. To a certain degree, that could be considered a conditional order. But I have yet to see in crypto anybody work AOCO orders. I'd love it. But, you know, now that CME futures are up and running, my hunch is Bitcoin will be on the T4 shortly. And if you really want to go the professional route, I would go that route. So hopefully that helps you understand what conditional orders are. Really, to be perfectly honest with you, for all you guys in this program, not really that relevant. 7, with crypto slowdown expected next few months, would an up and running trader still be able to be reasonable profit in the market conditions? Well, I mean, the cool part about being a trader is you can be both long and short. And we have one site gentleman, you might have gotten to know him a little bit recently, who has a funny little bear moniker. And he does daily shows for us on the site called his Daily Picnic Basket. And he absolutely loves to short. Hey, it's weird, you know. I think psychologically, and Julian will probably attest to this, I'm not really the biggest fan of shorting. I do understand that technically, if you actually are short in the marketplace, that is technically open-ended legal liability. I have seen people get absolutely destroyed from having open shorts and the market being ratcheted the other direction against them. So it does happen. And I can think of an example that just happened a couple of years ago with pharmaceutical stocks. So don't get me wrong. As well, too, you know, especially if we get into a nasty bear market, the public hates people who profit from the economy collapsing. So you can, you know, warm yourself to shorting. Hopefully you can understand, you know, in crypto, as any of you seen, what is the general sentiment from the crypto universe if somebody comes out and makes a bearish call on Bitcoin? How does that go over? Does it go over pretty well? I think you already know the answer. Right? Is anybody still listening to me? Am I still connected? I don't see the chat room moving. Are we still connected here, Julian?
Yeah, I think so. Can everyone hear us?
Not so well. Okay, maybe that's answering to that. All right, good. All right, thanks, guys. Just
We're good.
want to make sure you haven't fallen asleep. So, you know, if you do want to short and you want to build shorting plans, nothing wrong with that. And, you know, Daily Picnic Basket, just watch the daily brief. We have a professional who loves to go in and short the market all the time. So my advice might be just go pull down all the daily briefs and really get to know Thomas and the way that he looks at the market. He even told you guys today and yesterday that everything that he uses, well, not everything, but a good majority of what he uses to trade, he learned in this level 1 program. So no reason why you can't be another picnic basket stealer just like Thomas. I hope that answered the question. There are some people that, like on Poloniex, you can actually short altcoins. But again, really, I would argue those kind of strategies are definitely for people that are sort of quote unquote in the know. And you can get run over really, really quickly doing that kind of stuff. So be careful, please. And of course, what I've been waiting for forever, but it just doesn't look like it's going to come this cycle, fuckers, is options on Bitcoin. As soon as options come, and of course, in the risk management module, we're going to teach you about buying portfolio insurance. So, if it does come, but I don't know whether it will this cycle. But if the options do come, then we can always just go and buy put options on these things to protect our butts. But that's a conversation you guys probably are a little too green to be having just yet. Okay, how should we differentiate between emotional responses that would cause us to alter our trading plan versus it being a technically sound idea? Are there questions you seasoned guys use when deciding on when to update trade plan? All right, well, I think it's a good idea for all of you guys to commit to a certain number of trades following a very specific setup. And then after you're done that, then we go back and review the plan. Did the plan produce the results that I wanted? Yes, no. If the answer is yes, well, that makes it pretty easy. Rinse and repeat. If the answer is no, all right, was this a behavioral issue? If the answer is behavioral, then there are steps that we can go down to try and deal with behaviors. If the answer is nope, it's not behavioral, it's just this is a shitty setup, well, we can always just go find a new setup. Try and keep emotion completely out of this game. And the easiest way to gauge how emotion is affecting your trading plan is if you're feeling anxious, then dial size down. And just keep dialing size down until you don't give a fuck anymore. If that has to be take your trade size all the way down to like 0.0001 BTC per trade, so I just don't really give a fuck about the end results, well, great. Book a whole bunch of winning trades, build up your subconscious belief system in your setup, in your trading plan, and in yourself, and then you can up the bet, right? And just keep doing the same thing and just keep upping the bet, slowly up the bet, up the bet, up the bet. But let's try and, stick to a certain amount of trades that you are going to commit to in this trading plan before you even think about that up the bet kind of conversation. Hopefully that answers that question. Is it better to lose money sticking to a plan than gaining money with no plan? Really, the ultimate answer to that is, are you going to learn? I mean, really, I couldn't, it's a waste of everybody's time if you're just going to go and half-ass this. So, again, what I'd rather you do is start out paper trading and then slowly build the bet sizes up as you get more and more comfortable. But I can absolutely tell you without a shadow of a doubt, what usually ends up killing most new people to trading is we used to have a saying as a broker, the absolute worst thing that can possibly happen to you when you first start out is a whole bunch of success. Because then you think, yeah, this shit's easy. Anybody can do this. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Then market state changes. And I would imagine, the cool part about altcoins and the crypto market is the cycles are so fast that, all of the professional football players and hotel executive daughters who thought that making money in crypto is just easy peasy, they all get bitch slapped real hard. So that's good. That's awesome. But what I will tell you is if you don't have a plan, what usually ends up happening is as soon as the market state changes, and things aren't working the same way that they were when you were having success, that's usually when most people blow up their accounts. They can't handle the stress, can't handle the anxiety, and they end up just doing really stupid things, and it just spirals out of control. Then they start revenge trading and say goodbye to your account. Simple as that. All right. Should we create separate trading plans per token or stick all on it one big trading plan? Well, that's actually a really good question. I think it's a good idea. It really all depends on, are you little old lady, nanny nibbling a portfolio? Are you margin trading a very specific market? So this question really has a whole bunch of sort of moving parts to it that we really can't answer this question until we know what those other parts are. Good question, though. It's a very good question. Don't get me wrong. I would say the very simplest answer to you is, if you're going to be leverage trading, margin trading, try pick one market. I trade crude oil. I trade gold. I trade treasury bonds. I trade Bitcoin. And just focus the plan on that one market, hunting that setup, rinse and repeat, day in, day out. You can build multiple plans. I've got one plan for Bitcoin. I've got one plan for Ethereum. I've got one plan for Dash. And I got one plan for gold. I got one plan for crude. So that would be sort of like, like my day trader leverage margin trading angle. But, if you're a little old lady, or, your Joe six-pack, which we're going to talk about, they're different risk profiles, risk takers in the market, if you will. Well, they're going to be running a portfolio of positions. And they're going to be position trading, where each position has its appropriate risk and its appropriate profit objectives. So again, can't really answer that question without actually really knowing more about what's actually going on in the background. But hopefully that answer helps you a little bit. All right. Should we already now start with paper trades? Well, remember I showed you the process and logging. And really, I couldn't give a rat's ass whether your trade ideas make money or lose money right now. If anything, every single setup reason should be quote unquote hunch, right? And really, I'm not even looking for you to make money right now. What I really want you to do is I want you practicing the process. How do you short a crypto market? How do you protect yourself from a bearish market without going into cash? I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say that for a moment. Really all depends on what crypto markets you're talking about. Like Bitcoin, for example. There are a few sort of anti-Bitcoins out there that technically their price should go up when Bitcoin goes down. So there are those routes. We talked a little bit about this with the advent of put options. Technically speaking, you could open up a CBOE or CME futures contract. You could technically go to OKCoin or MEX and sell their forward contracts. So there are a number. In fact, you can go on Phoenix and you could short sell. I think the margin leverage there is 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. So there are a number of different alternatives. My suggestion for you, if this is your question, is go into the lounge and build a file. Grab like a Google Doc. What are the ways to short crypto? And start building your list. Brian says MEX forwards. Thomas says okay coin forwards. Brian was talking about CME forwards. They're futures. CBOE futures. Brian was talking about these things called put options. Brian was talking about Poloniex and how you can short altcoins on Poloniex. So, you can't answer this question in just one quick brief, but I've given you a number of things to think about here. I see somebody's typing up furiously fast and trying to have everything. Thank you, whoever's typing here, man. You're going at lightning speed here. Way to go. Okay, what the hell does this say? How can I create a trading pool? I have no idea what the heck that is. Plan? No, I mean, that's the whole point of taking this course. And what you have to do is simply follow the step-by-step instructions that we're going to give you here in this course. Is it better to lose money sticking to a plan than gain money with no plan? We've already talked about that. How can I create a trading plan if I'm a baby? Well, you just sit there. I basically walked you through everything that I expect of you right now. So you're right. You don't know anything about setups. You don't know anything about risk profiles. You should just do what you're told to do right now, baby. And just be the best baby you can be. Journal question. So, is there ever a need to reflect on the journal entries at a later date? Absolutely. Holy shit, yes. In fact, actually, I used to work with this one guy out of New York. Real son of a bitch. Guys, I mean, yeah, that's the irony of it all, guys. Most of the guys that teach trading, they're real assholes. So you guys are really lucky working with me. At least I'm somewhat pleasant. Some of the guys that I used to work with were just this one guy, his name, and he's on CNBC all the fucking time, reporting from the pit right beside Rick Santelli. I can see him on the pits. I used to talk to him. He used to always talk to us from the pits. And his nickname on the site was Bob, I am a dicko. That's what his name was on the site. Hey, Bob, I'm a dicko. And he was proud of the fact that he was a total asshole. So, anyway, the point here is Bob used to teach a course, and he would charge people like 5 fucking G's for what I'm giving to you guys here. I suppose we're sort of getting up in that similar ballpark now. But anyway, and he would actually tell his students, and I would recommend exactly the same thing to all of you. Wall Street Journal, put it away. CNBC, turn that shit off. That's just garbage. They're trying to sell you Tide laundry detergent. If you don't understand that now, hear me. Turn that garbage off. They're actually trying to feed into your emotions. If you are going to study anything in the time that you are working with me, guess what I want you studying? Bingo. And this is the most valuable information. You can't even buy this information. It's so valuable. To some traders, I think, and I tell all my previous courses, and I'm going to tell you now, I used to, in fact, actually a video that I asked all of you guys to watch. Did you watch the IRA video? I sure hope you did. The gentleman that was sitting right beside Ira doing the interview, Michael Patak, he was my old boss. And he used to actually keep his journals handwritten in a fireproof safe at his home. Right? That's how valuable that information was. The point here is, Bob, I am a dicko. He would say the only thing that you are allowed to study in this program is obviously program materials and your journals. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I did. It was kind of a weird one. I know some people were kind of like, Brian, don't send people off on a tangent. But go check out my my Twitter feed. I even said that I was going to quiz you guys. Oh, there you go. Somebody's already posting it. But basically, the guy on the left is Nebraska, and he's the dick. And the guy on the right is Hogs, total sweetheart. He was the one who taught me volume profile. And those guys are, basically, industry veterans. They've been trading forever. So hopefully that answers the question. Is journal entries important? I would say absolutely. And I would even recommend to each and every one of you that you actually create a special assignment that at one point every single day, well, not every day, at one point once a week, your job is to go back and read your journal. I love the guy on the left is a dick. The guy on the right is awesome. Shh, don't tell them that. Like, I've always said, like, Nebraska hates me. He was so fucking mad when I left the firm. Oh my God, he was just steaming. I've invested all this time and money in you, and you're just gonna fucking stand up and walk out, you motherfucker. All right. Hopefully that answers your question. Yep. Yeah.
You're kicking butt here, and thank you everyone for sticking with us. Just so you know, I'm getting a couple PMs. People are getting sleepy and tired.
Okay. Holy shit, we still got a long way to go, eh?
Yeah, there's a lot more added. Let's just as quick as you can. I think you're kicking butt. Like I said, I think everybody's getting great value.
Yeah, and if you need to watch this back tomorrow, this part that you missed, no big deal. If you need to take
if you guys have to hop, just hop, and then watch it tomorrow. You can even watch it at 2 times speed then.
Yeah. And I'm one of the only guys that seems you can actually understand what I'm saying at like hyper speed. So that's not a bad suggestion.
It's true. Brian doesn't sound normal unless I'm listening to him at 2 times.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep banging away here. We got a lot of work to do here. So what is the best time to journal? Anytime, anywhere, any place. Don't really care. What is a good length? Well, you decide. I'm not going to tell you how long. You're going to write until you feel like you got nothing else to write. Talking about daily journal, not initial thought dump. Well, that's fine. What did I see today? How am I feeling? Did I learn anything today? Right? The answer could be, I feel like shit. I didn't learn anything today. Fuck you. I'm going back to bed. All right. Fine. But I better not see, I feel like shit. Fuck you. I went and blew up my account today. If you're feeling like shit, you're not happy, you got no business in the market risking your money. Does it make sense to write down stuff like how to interpret data on the cod from? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And that's the kind of information that like 6 months from now, a year from now, TRI course is long over, you're off trading on your own. Having that resource in your back pocket is invaluable. Remember, what did I learn today? Look at that. We got 2. Look at that. They got 3 of them. Look at them all go. But is this a race? It's so cool. Hey, I think we probably ought to cut the questions off. Are more questions coming in here? Who's this anonymous Python? Oh goodness. No, I think probably can we just say we've had we'll save the rest of the questions for next week. No more new questions. We just got to get through this, okay? Journal data accumulates. What the fuck am I to do with the journal entries 3 years from now? That is a completely amateur statement, and really that's someone who doesn't understand the value of journal information. You could sit down maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months, and just go back and read like a year ago's data. Have I progressed? Has the market state changed? So, this is somebody who doesn't understand the value of journaling. My advice to you, sir or ma'am, is get journaling, start logging this information. And what's really cool is at the end of this program, if you did do this, you're going to even see the change in you just even from today. Yeah, I didn't mean to be insulting. So I'm not trying to be insulting here by saying amateur, but this is the kind of statement. I get a lot of people that I work with that fight me on journaling like tooth and nail. They just won't do it. And what I've found is the difference between those that win at this game and those that lose at this game, it's the journaling. That's the key. And it's so ironic because, you know, A-typers hate journaling. They just hate it with a passion. Okay, trade log questions. How do we use, what is this? What do you use to track your trades and portfolio? Google Sheets and some professional software. Well, the problem is we technically are tracking our assets on the site, and I used to show like the crypto portfolio page and stuff. So that's what I used to primarily use to track our performance, running the nanny nibbles just to sort of keep an eye on things. But the problem is that page is just simply broken now. It's erroneous data, so it's not really efficient for us to use to get a really clear idea of what's going on. So I've been sort of manually just keeping track of the assets, and you know, I've shown this on the daily briefs and stuff, but I know Julian would rather I don't. So I try and, you know, just for now until we get to the new site, hopefully asset tracking will be a little bit more accurate. But basically, I'm keeping track of everything manually, right? So I do a lot of work just sort of manually trying to track everything and keep my head on around everything. So I do a heck of a lot of work logging and journaling our data. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's not easy when you start dealing with, you know, $100,000 accounts. It's not easy keeping on top of this stuff. So I hope that helps answer the question. You know, in fact, actually, somebody had asked me to build the sort of a step-by-step walkthrough tutorial on the Nanny Nibbles strategy. And I've actually put together a presentation. I'm just sort of waiting for permission from the team to actually go ahead and do this. But in essence, this presentation that I wanted to do would just simply walk you through starting the portfolio, building out the trading plan, starting up the asset, you know, from the very basic small accounts to ultimately running a full size portfolio. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Managing money is not easy. Nobody said this was easy work. But at the same time, too, please understand that the reporting that we're doing on the TRI site right now, the old site, is broken. It's not correct. It's just simple as that. How much effort should I put into creating a custom sheet with formulas and API scripts? Have fun with this. That's the whole point of trading. And, you know, working from a trading plan is you're going to find that a lot of the anxiety around sort of the trade management process, the decision-making process, sort of it melts away. And you actually get the time and the ability to really have fun building out your tools to your own liking. If you'd like to go down the road of, remember I showed you, Julian gave you a cool little spreadsheet with some formulas in it to get you going. Very, very basic stuff. If you want to trick the shit out of your sheets to give you just the most awesomest reporting with APIs and knock yourself out, you know, sky's the limit. I would say, though, to begin with, everybody saw the process and what I want you to learn. Keep it simple, stupid. Good idea, good principle to start with. If it's worth my time to do what resources can you recommend that would help me as a non-coder with that? I'm not really the best resource for these kind of answers. If anything, what I would suggest you do is reach out to the community. We got such a fabulous community. Some of these people that are on TRI, the veterans and stuff like that, I mean, these guys know crypto backwards and all the different spreadsheets and tracking sites and stuff. So my answer to you is, you know, even Julian, James, and Garrett here probably know better resources than I would. And as I said, to actually get you going on a half decent footing, I think it's actually better that you do this manually. And like Julian's here saying, no, Brian, don't get them to ask me. So, I think my suggestion is pop into the lounge and just throw some feelers out. You'd be surprised what's going to come back. Should I go back in time and log all previous trades, or just focus on now and into the future? The problem is with old trades is that you really haven't been given the framework of what it is I want you to look for and look at. This whole idea of 2-to-1 risk reward, that's probably very foreign to you right now. If you lost money in the past, it's psychologically that might be taxing for you to have to put yourself through that torture. If you're one of those type of sort of neat freak, perfectionist, you want to go through your old trade ledger and logs and detail, why you got into the trade, what was your entry, what was your risk, if there even was one, you didn't know what you were doing, you could always note that. What was your profit objective? Did you have a profit objective on those old trades? What is it that got you to act? If you want to go down that road, great. If it's a negative experience and it's going to be taxing on you psychologically, I kind of think you just want to let it go, right? Just say, look, this is a clean slate. We're going to start fresh. Let's, build this spreadsheet and let's commit to the process from here on out. So, I'll leave that in your court. It's entirely up to you. All right. In the trade ledger, there is an exit price. Is that the exit price if it goes according to plan, i.e. the stop loss price? Well, either exit at profit or exit at stop. Exit is an exit is an exit. Further to Q6. When we hit our exit price, do we sell at 100% of the coins or scale it gradually? And you're overthinking this right now, whoever's asking this question. Just keep it simple. If you have a entry and you have a 100% profit target, well, 100%. If you have a 2-to-1 profit objective and that level's hit, I just want you taking profits. Just say I booked a profit, nice psychological win. Let's move on. Down the road, when I've worked with you for say 6 months, 8 months, a year or so, we can start talking about discretionary trading, averaging in, averaging out, layering, pyramiding, whatever. But for now, man, I think you're overthinking it. Let's just get everybody into the habit of booking solid 2-to-1 wins. Trust me, you get into the habit of booking 2-to-1 wins, you start doing 60, 70% accuracy, you'll be more than happy with what you see. I've seen it before, see it again. Jesus, further to question 7. If it's gradual, am I right in thinking that this trade ledger is a basic one and that it will get more complex over time as we become better traders? Yeah, it could. Keep it simple, stupid. You can keep it as simple as you want, or you can make it as complicated as you want. That's up to you. When entering the sell half on a double on a trading ledger coinage chart, can I assume we put that order onto the exchange too? Definitely. Absolutely. And of course, as you sort of mature as a trader, you're going to find that some exchanges happen to throw curveballs at you, and you have to be very light on your toes, and you're going to learn that about trading. Oh, Jesus Christ, this keeps going on and on. You know what? I'm going to take a 5-minute, or well, let's say a 2-minute break. I'm going to fill up my beverage, reload, and we'll come back and we'll attack the remaining questions. Please, no more new questions for this session. Everybody take a 2-minute potty break. We'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. When Mother Nature calls, I got to answer. Okay, so just keep pounding through this. Let's see if we can get that done in the next sort of half hour, 20 minutes or so. All right, so let's get to work here. How long should I take to get through this 6-step process? Really, as long as it takes. 20 paper trades, 21/10 trades, 20 full-size trades. Usually I find that if you pick a setup that you want to focus here on the level 1 program, you can get through the 20 paper trades by the end of this level 1 program. If you want to do things like little old lady, nanny nibble strategy, you can get to work really quickly. But if you want to learn sort of the margin trader, leverage trader setup, usually I find that most of my students, by time they're finishing the level 2 program, they've gone through the 20 paper trades, 21 10 size trades, and they're now up and trading full size. You say that, quote unquote, trading isn't for everyone. That's right. In your opinion, what IQ levels? Nothing to do with IQ. IQ is irrelevant. And personality temperaments. Personality temperament is everything. You have to be able to control yourself. You have to be able to lay down on a piece of paper exactly what it is you're going to do, and then you have to do it. And you can be dumb as a fence post. As long as you can follow a plan, you make all the money you ever need trading. You say, okay, is it useful for us to set expectations of ourselves based on your own cognitive abilities? As I'm sure we have a mix of above average and genius level intelligence in the group. How do differences reflect in trading performance from your experience? Well, you know the sad part about this, guys, and you're not going to like this. Usually the smarter guys, the guys that actually think they're pretty damn full of themselves, big egos and stuff, they're usually the ones that do the worst at trading. And especially, like mathematicians that sort of say, oh, I've figured out the secret to the universe. And then they end up just blowing themselves up. So, again, being a good trader has less to do with how smart you are and how good you are at just simply following directions. Isn't that weird? Lose your emotion. One thing you absolutely have to understand when it comes to the markets and risking money in the markets, your opinion is meaningless. Doesn't matter. Market doesn't give a fuck about your opinion. Doesn't care. In fact, the weirdest thing about, another weird thing about trading is, maybe have you guys ever heard this expression before? Have firm convictions that are loosely held. Right. And actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Curtis. Curtis says, like being in the military, just following orders, follow orders. It is interesting. I was listening to, we were listening to Ira the other day, and they were talking about how officer training, they actually, like the Marine Corps and stuff, they actually send their guys down to the trading pits because you have to be able to, number one, have an opinion, which is perfectly fine. But if the market proves your opinion is wrong, you have to be flexible. You have to be able to adapt to the situation. And if that's just simply a question of, hey, I got to get the fuck out of here to protect my capital, well, then so be it. I'm not quite sure what you're writing there, Curtis, but anyway. I hope that answers your question. I don't mean to be rude, but what I actually find happens is people overthink this shit. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, definitely, Keith. Yeah. And to be honest with it, whatever Hogue says, I would just simply do what he says. The guy's an absolute fucking, I just love him to death. So, anyway. Okay, I hope that answered the question. I know it's not probably the answer you wanted to hear. What you wanted to hear was, Intelligence is direct function to profits, but it actually doesn't work that way. It just doesn't, right? Profits is a function of you being able to build a plan, follow the plan, and hold yourself to account. That's actually the secret to this game. Okay, what do we got here? Evolutionary process. I've been trading amateurishly. Yeah, one of the things I find really struggle with is taking profits while I recognize this. Well, hopefully what ends up happening here is this thing called the process is going to force you to take profits. You have no choice. And what should end up happening here is you are forced to take profits, not because of some objective, but because it's a function of the amount of risk that you've taken on the trade. So hopefully that'll help you learn discipline to take profits. I had a really good example that somebody actually even posted I don't know whether it was yesterday or today, but one of our recent level 1 graduates, I'm so proud of him because the guy's like, Brian, thank you. You taught me how to do this. I win. Thank you very much. So Steven, who was basically in all of your shoes, basically 3 or 4 months ago, no difference. He went and posted this trade. Let's see where we are here. I got it on here somewhere. Where the hell is it? Steven. Yeah, here it is. I mean, talk about a damn trade. Jesus H. Christ, Steven. You're crazy. So the question is, how on earth he's forcing himself to buy here? You see how volatile this thing is. Look at these damn wicks. How on earth did he force himself to take profits in this, right? If you left this as a discretionary trade, there's no way you would have gotten a fill here. This might have happened in like 10 seconds. Zing, zing. You missed the trade. You're just not there. So what ends up happening is we actually force ourselves to work orders at our profit levels to force ourselves to take profits. Hopefully that helps you understand how we approach this. And, you know, by all means, this is a very common problem. So it's not like this is out of the ordinary. Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? I'd like to know if this is normal. Isn't that funny how I answered that? To trade with pants on or off. Well, you know, obviously that's discretionary. Follow up to number 1. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Do you recommend letting your winners run, or when you say stick to the plan? I would prefer that you stick to your plan. If the plan is to take partial profits and let the remaining run, stick to that plan. If your plan is to book profits at 2 to 1, stick to that plan. Don't get into the habit of, this trade I'll get a take 2 to 1. That trade I'm going to do sell half on a double. You start doing that, you're setting yourself up for disaster. Special assignment question. Coinigy evaluation offer. Frankly, I don't even know about this, guys. Will did send something out to me about looking for beta testers. You know, considering we've been talking forever here tonight, I'm just going to leave that. You know, if any of the boys want to address that, or Julian wants to help you out with that, you know, really my advice to you is just get in touch with Coinigy yourselves. But I'm sure Julian, there's something that he would like us to do. In the video with Ira, and I think that's a typo. I think that's supposed to be an I. I don't know why they did Y, but anyway, that's here and there. Putting in wish bids. Many wishing right through my stops. Yeah, well, it does happen. How do you put in a bid and a stop before the bid is filled? Remember I told you the AOCO orders in the futures industry. So, you know, crypto, can you do that in crypto right now? Not really. Half of these places won't even honor your stop loss orders. But on, you know, things like the T4 Cunningham system, you can do the AOCO order, and all of that stuff would be just basically entered automatically. In the Macro Voices episode, volume speaks volumes in real estate. I try to relate and your DB concepts guys. So in his he indicated he watched for volume increase decreases in the real estate market, which gives Jesus Christ, is there a question in here somewhere? Question. Would this be the case study for volume impetus? Trying to visualize and relate. Yeah, not even going to touch this right now. We will get to this when we do the volume module. Okay, how do we follow TRI on TradingView? Well, that's a pretty simple one. I think my username is CR Investor. I think that's what that is my title there, if I'm not mistaken. There we are. Yeah, so it's this silly little thing, and then you can go up here, but half the time these silly browsers don't work. I'll load this up and see what happens. Oh, that's encouraging. I wanted to show you this, right? So if we right click, nope, still not going to work, piece of shit. Oh, there we go. Left click. If we go profile, and I'm going to lose this page now. There is the profile. So if you want to get to know me a little better on TradingView, there you go. Where should we put this? Let's put it over here. Maybe Julian will want to throw this on the site somewhere. Pretty straightforward, eh? TradingView.com/u/CR Investor. There you go. Okay, you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm running out of steam here, so we better wind this up pretty shortly. Oh, Jesus, I don't know what's wrong with all that. In fact, you know what I think we'll do? Why don't we pick up this on Wednesday? We will attack these questions because I can already feel I'm running out of steam here, and I don't want to get burnt out here. Okay, guys. So good job. We'll leave the other questions for Wednesday, and hopefully most of the questions that we get on Wednesday have already been answered here. Great job on all of these answers, guys. Wow, you guys really kicked butt here. Excellent job. Okay, guys, what do you think? Shall we leave it at that? I'm exhausted. I feel burnt out. All right. So, this is going to be a universal document that we will basically be working off of for Wednesday as well. Julian probably won't be available, but the boys, James and Garrett, will hopefully one of them will be here to try and help me along the lines like we did today. You guys did a fantastic job. Excellent job here. Covered most of the questions. I think we did a pretty good job. And we're coming up here on 2 hours and 41 minutes. I can feel my voice is starting to go. So, okay, I think we're going to leave it at that for now. As we said, Wednesday, after we do the Wednesday class, we should open up the page here. You should be able to click on week 2. All right. I think on balance, we got everybody set up here with all these documents. So I think we achieved our primary objective for tonight. And the only thing left to do now is bid you all a fond adieu. And if you did ask a question off of that document that we didn't get to today, maybe pop into the Wednesday class and fast forward to the point where we do. We'll just start the questions off from where we left off here. Okay? All right, why don't we leave it at that? You guys all have yourselves an excellent afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. All the best, and bye for now.